Hello everyone, welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Come and join me for a daily Bitcoin price action analysis. And there it is right before us. The mighty Bitcoin, not very mighty today. The OG, the original, the one that preceded all others in the crypto world. And today is not a good day. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. Yes, but happy Monday to you all. I hope your week has started rather better than Bitcoin's and that you've enjoyed yourself today. Now, here is the daily Bitcoin price action analysis. Spoiler alert, I don't really like that phrase, but I'm going to use it anyway. It's not looking good. Not if you're looking for more upside. Now, this is the daily time frame, and this is the exact same chart that I've been showing you for the last few days. And you can see my blue line, my kind of line in the sand. Now, it'll be an area, it's not exactly a line, but you can see the Bitcoin is right there now. Now, there's still 5 hours to go before Bitcoin closes its daily candle today. And 5 hours and an infinitely small period of time until it then opens its next daily candle. But it doesn't look good, and you don't need to be an accomplished trader to see that just by looking at this chart. Point of observation, if you just look, this is a selection of cryptocurrencies that I have on my trading view that I've saved. Strangely enough, Ethereum and Bitcoin is out of my selection. This isn't an exhaustive selection. Crikey, there are hundreds of cryptocurrencies. But it has performed more or less the worst out of them all. And that's interesting because a lot of the time when Bitcoin goes significantly in one direction, either up or down, that creates a more significant move in the same direction as the other cryptocurrencies. So that to me is significant, and I'm not going to draw any conclusions of that at this point in time, but it's just an observation. Okay. That's enough on the daily time frame. As you can see, the momentum is still to the downside. Now, the 4 hour. Okay, the 4 hour. So I was talking about this also yesterday, and about how if Bitcoin broke below these two highs here, then it may do a significant move down, which it did. And at the moment, and I'm sort of very reticent to look for upside, but at the moment it is getting a bit of support around my blue line. That is where, in my humble opinion, Bitcoin cannot close, and this is important, this week's daily time frame. So on CME Friday, this coming Friday, and on all the other exchanges Sunday at midnight. So there's a long time between now and then, but Bitcoin's already there, and it's only Monday. So it doesn't look good. But the reason that is significant is, as I said yesterday, so far in this bull run, and you can see it here on the weekly chart, I got the weekly MACD is still very much to the upside, and it has been the whole time. Well, the weekly MACD, and I use that as a momentum index, moved to the upside on this candle here. And it's been clearly above the zero line ever since. Now, that's not the point. Well, it's a point, but it's not the point I'm making. Along this whole bull run. So this upside move on a weekly time frame, you will not see a weekly lower low, right? And I can point that out very simply and hopefully efficiently. So this is where it all started. So you call this whole consolidation period a weekly low. Then there was a move up to here, with a pullback to here, and then another move to here, with a pullback to there. Now that closure, that weekly closure, was just a bit higher than this one, so it wasn't a weekly lower low. It was a slightly higher low. Then there was a move up to here. Then there was a move down to here. And a move back up to here. This was pretty much a range, but even if you look at it as sort of separate moves, which isn't very helpful, but even if you do so, if you notice this, so out of this downward move, this became the low here, following that move up, right? I hope you understand that. If you don't, that's my fault, not yours, right? But just take my word for it, that this weekly candle closure here became the low. And there were no closures below it, even over here. So despite this kind of looking like it was going up and down, it was basically going sideways, but there were no lower lows on a weekly time frame throughout that period, in my opinion. And then there's another move up with a consolidation period, and this whole thing really was a kind of low. I mean, it was basically a consolidation period, but the lowest weekly closure there was sort of 41,300, and there were no closures below there. And then another move up, a move down to this weekly candle. So not this weekly candle, this weekly closure. And remember, you can have wicks wherever you want. You can stick a wick wherever you want to stick one. But the weekly closure was here. And that's where I've said Bitcoin must refuse to close below on a weekly time frame to maintain that pattern of higher lows on a weekly. And right now, it's just not. However, the week is a long way away from closure, which is why I'm saying it doesn't look good today, but today is just one day, and the rest of the week is to come. However, I'm sort of trying to remain upbeat about the current price action that Bitcoin is providing us all with, but it's getting harder. Bitcoin is making me work very hard to make anything shiny out of what it's presenting to me. Even this potential divergence on the 4 hour has now been smoked. So, yes, there are a few days left for Bitcoin to prove itself. And I'll go a bit further than that, all right? I'll go a bit further than that even. If you look at, this is back to the daily chart, so I just keep switching around from time frames. When there is a rejection from when there's a quick reversal in price action, i.e. from an uptrend to a downtrend, it tends to happen quite quickly. So these are daily candles, right? So it got up to what we now know to be the all-time high. We didn't know that at the time. But within just sort of 2 or 3 days, really, there was a significant move down, right? So what it didn't do was sort of grind out up against that area. And indeed, that would have made it look way more likely to then continue to the upside. Like this, for example. So a big move up, and then basically a consolidation, but like grinding it out. There was a little bit of a dip down, but just filled out those wicks, and then an impulsive move to the upside. the difference here was there was a significant move to the downside quite quickly. So, within a few days. And the same goes for, this was kind of like more of a consolidation. So then this moved down here. So there's a move down, which basically created the range that I've been referring to for several weeks now. And you can see we only spent 2 days really hanging around there before making a decent move back up, which then led to some upside. Kind of the same for these two. It was a double top, which is very easy to identify in retrospect, but less easy to identify when it's happening or contemporaneously. Now, therefore, this video is going on a bit. I apologize for the length of the video, but I guess it's significant. Therefore, the longer that Bitcoin hangs around at these levels, so kind of anywhere really in this kind of region, the more likely it is, in my humble opinion, to continue with more downside. And the opposite of that would be if it can just spend maybe a day or two around here and then make an impulsive move back up and get back above this midpoint, then its range continues. But significantly, if that happens before the end of the week, this move, then it'll start to look like, okay, here we go. We're set for a weekly higher low, so continuation within the current bull market, within the current upward weekly trend. But if this happens, it's not that. It's a whole different story. And you would probably think it's going to move down to these kind of areas first. So taking into account this wick high and then this whole consolidation period. So basically low 50s. If it broke down from there, then it's low 40s. But probably not an impulsive move. It'll probably then sort of take a long time and grind itself out. That's a rather negative picture, and that's not on the horizon right now. But the end of this week is very significant. But I would go a step further to say the middle of this week is significant, because I'd like to see Bitcoin do what it did here and bounce within a few days, and do what it did here, bounce within a few days, and kind of there as well. So there you go. I'm sorry to be the harbinger of doom, but I'm just looking at the price action, and as I speak, it's working its way back down towards 60,000. Oh dear! Wow, what a long video. Listen, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it, despite it being rather negative. And if you have, drop me a quick subscribe. That would be excellent. And let's do it all again tomorrow. Okay, enjoy what's left of your Monday. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.